I love a good promotional stunt. And there's a doozy going on right now. If you remember the Tide Pod challenge, all right, now this is not a Tide Pod for those of you that are going to yell at me. I think this is a Cascade Pod from our dishwasher. But anyway, you remember the Tide Pod challenge was, people, idiots, stupid people, were challenging each other to take these things and pop them in their mouth and eat them, right? Which, of course, made a lot of people sick and was not a good idea. And I want to stress that right now. Not a good idea. Don't go do that, all right? But anyway, but everybody talked about it, right? It was, kind of was one of those challenges that's been running around. They've had a number of challenges from the ice bucket challenge, all the way. But that one got people talking a lot, was that. And so what has happened here? Well, this week in London, during London Cocktail Week, Glenlivet Whiskey, which is, Scotch, made in Scotland, right? Glenlivet, which is, I think is like about almost a 200-year-old company. It's been around for a long time, makes great Scotch, a great Scotch whiskey. And they have come up with their own version of the Tide Pod. That's right. They have come up with Scotch, with Glenlivet whiskey capsules. And it's going on right now, as I record this, in London during London Cocktail Week. Now, here's the thing. They are getting tremendous publicity around the world, all over the place. And I think it's really, really cool. But you can only get these in one bar in London this week, and then they're gone. So here they are. And so what's going on here with this? Well, number one is that you can imagine that in London Cocktail Week, all of the big distilleries from, I don't know if it's just England, I suspect it's from around the world and stuff. All the big distilleries are having parties, and they're having events, and they're doing all this sort of stuff, and everybody's trying to outdo each other to get the attention of people and the press in particular. Well, let me tell you something. Glenlivet has just knocked it out of the park with this. They're the only thing that I'm hearing about in London Cocktail Week, and I suspect that bar in London is packed, and it's got a line outside because people are going, I want to go try these things. So, because supposedly there is Glenlivet whiskey, Scotch whiskey in each of these pods. It says they have 3 different flavors. I don't know what they are. I couldn't find anything that gave me any idea of that. But what a tremendous promotional stunt that is in my mind. Now, let's kind of break this down and talk about it, because it reminds me of other promotional stunts, some that really didn't work very well. Like the IHOP becoming the IHOB. That whole thing. I think that kind of has died away and gone away. It was not liked very well. But think about some great stunts that like Taco Bell has had a number of them themselves. One of my favorites was when they announced that they bought the Liberty Bell and renamed it the Taco Liberty Bell. I thought that was pretty darn funny. WestJet, I think it was WestJet Air up in Canada, pulled off a very heartwarming promotional stunt over the holidays a couple of years ago, when they had people who were getting ready to fly out of one city to another. In the first city where they were departing from, they were invited to come over to this screen and tell with Santa, to tell Santa what they wanted for Christmas. And then while they were flying to the other city, the WestJet staff in the arrival city actually went out and bought as many of the things that the people wanted and wrapped them up and had a big Christmas party waiting for them when they landed, and gave them all what they had wished. Gave the people what they had wished for. Domino's did a brilliant stunt when they went around and they got all these dump trucks, and they went around and patched holes in the streets, saying that they were paving the road, paving for pizza, so that the pizza drivers wouldn't have to keep hitting potholes whenever they were going around. And most recent, fantastic promotional stunt by Tesla when they launched a Tesla into space with an astronaut behind the wheel, and we were able to watch this Tesla fly away from Earth and off into space. So what have we got here? You see, the point is that you know what? Anybody can do these. Anybody can do stunts, and a stunt, in my opinion, needs to be something that gets the attention of your marketplace for a good reason. It's something that should be fun. I mean, it can be controversial. Certainly, stunts have been controversial over the years. Some of them are funny. Some of them are meant to be hilarious. Some are meant to be serious, like the WestJet those things. And here's the thing: is that what happened here is that Glenlivet stole genius, didn't they? If you read my book, Uncopyable, How to Create an Unfair Advantage over your competition. If you've read that, then you know, and they're a big part. One of the big strategies is innovation, coming up with new ideas on how to separate yourself from the competition. And stealing genius is one of the best ways to do that. And in fact, I've been contracted to write a book now about stealing genius. And but what they did was they looked at that Tide Pod and they said, you know what, we can put whiskey in there, and we can. I'll bet people would talk about that, and they were right. So you see, you can go out there, and the thing to do is look at things like not just current events, but current events are great because that's where they found this idea. But in reality, you can actually go out and you could study past promotional stunts that companies have had and ask yourself, are there any of these stunts that we can steal, alter them a little bit to where they fit our company, and go have fun with it? And I'm sure that you could come up with some great ideas that you could have fun with. Your employees, your fellow staffers would have fun with them. Like the Southwest Airlines, when Herb Kelleher had a boxing match with another CEO over the slogan for the airline. You see, these are great publicity stunts. You can have a lot of fun doing this, but what I would suggest is get online, search great promotional stunts, and make a list of them and start looking at it. Like the Liberty Bell thing, you could do something with the Liberty Bell thing. You could play with that idea a lot. One of my favorite local ideas in Seattle came from Ivar's Clams, which is a fast food seafood, primarily is known for their clams. Ivar's Clams. When a few years ago, they announced that they found sunken billboards at the bottom of Lake Union in Seattle, and they were brought out, and Seattle Times did a big story about it, and pictures of these guys pulling these sunken billboards out, and it got tremendous exposure in Seattle. And then of course it was announced a little bit later on that no, it was all a stunt. They made those themselves, sunk them, and then later went out and pulled them out of the water. So what can you do? What ideas can you take? And what kind of fun promotional stunt can you do in your marketplace that will get everybody's attention and take the attention away from your marketplace? Now, here's the question I have for Glenlivet: is what are they going to do to back this up? See, to me, they should be able to use this, and they should ask themselves, how can they build a database of people? Like if they were to go on and say, all right, we're going to provide X number of these for just so many people in so many cities around the world. And here, you can sign up, and we'll see and maybe you'll be one of the lucky people whose name will get drawn. And we're going to come to your city. We're going to come to one bar in your city, and we're going to do this. And we're going to do this there. If I were Glenlivet, that's what I would do, so that I could capture the database of people who want to drink Glenlivet. So that's your idea for this week. This is Steve Miller, better known as Kelly's Dad and Marketing Gunslinger. Thanks again for watching. I'll be back again next week with another Uncopyable business video. And in the meantime, always remember, be uncopyable. I wonder what this really tastes like.